Hi everyone, Andrew Ambrosi's here again for another episode of The Art of Business English. Now today I want to share with you some preposition and word or noun combinations, all right? And we're going to be using the preposition at. Now these combinations will make a great addition to your vocabulary, and of course they will help you to be more descriptive as well as understand us natives a bit better. Now, this week I have divided the episode into four main parts, okay? So we'll be looking at what are prepositions plus word or noun combinations. Then we'll be looking at a list of common combinations or that we're going to use with at. And then I'll give you the translation for those combinations, also for those word pairs. And then I'll give you some sample sentences at the end, just to put things into context, okay? So let's get started by looking at what are prepositions and word combinations, okay? So basically, as will become apparent in this lesson, these structures are actually lead with the preposition, okay? And are then followed by a noun. So it's as simple as that, really. And most people are quite familiar with phrasal verbs or, dependent prepositions and verbs followed by prepositions. And this seems to be where most, teachers put a common focus on this. However, prepositions plus noun combinations are also very important. Okay, so I've done, as you know or may not know, but in the past I've done many episodes on collocations and dependent prepositions. However, we need to also look at the flip side of these, which is when we put the preposition first. Okay, so as with collocations and phrasal verbs, the meaning doesn't really hold if we separate, these two elements. So if we separate the preposition from the noun, all right? But let me demonstrate by giving you an example, okay? So let's take a look at a preposition plus a noun example. I'm going to give you the example of at once. Okay, so together, this means immediately. So at once means immediately, like right now. So if you want to say to someone, come to my office at once, okay, then I'm basically telling that person that they are to come to my office now and not to wait a minute longer. Okay, now if we split these two, then they have a different meaning, or they don't doesn't mean anything related to immediately. So at, as you may know, is a preposition of place. So and once is an adverbial time expression. So una vez. So put them together and they take on this new meaning, but reverse the order. So if you put once at, then they don't make any sense. Okay, so it has to be at once. All right. So as you can see, preposition plus noun combinations are very important to know and learn, and as well as understand them. Okay, so let's take a look at some today in this lesson. I'm going to give you a bunch of them. I'm going to be looking at noun prepositions that begin with at. Okay, so let's take a look. So, firstly, I'll give you the list of collocations, and then we will look at their meaning. So let's start with our review of the preposition at, okay? So you've got the first one here, which is at dawn, okay? Now, at dawn is al rayer al alba, or al amanecer. And next one is at a distance, so a distancia. Moving on from there, we've got at first. Okay, so at first is al principio. And the next one is at first sight. Now, at first sight is a primera vista. Next one is... fuck this thing, dude. Fuck off! Work, God damn it. Next one is at a glance. So this basically means de un vistazo or a simple vista. Next one is at a guess, which means aproximadamente. Okay, and the next one is at gunpoint. So this one is a punto de pistola. Next one is at home. Okay, en casa. Next one, at a later date. And this means en un futuro. Okay, from here we got at last. And this basically means por fin. Okay, not to be confused with finally. And the next one is at the latest. At the latest is como tarde. Okay, so at the latest, como tarde. And the next one is at once. And as I said before, this is enseguida or inmediatamente. All right, let's look at the next one, which is at peace. At peace. And this is en paz or de acuerdo. Okay, at present is the next one. And that means actualmente, not to be confused with actually, which is de hecho. Okay, at a profit, which is con ganancias. And another one is at random, which means al azar. And then you've got at risk, which is en peligro. And the next one is at sea, which means en alta mar. Okay, so another one, at the same time. Okay, al mismo tiempo. And then at a time of, which basically means en el momento que. And then you've got at times. At times basically is a veces. And then you've got at work. Okay, so at work is en el trabajo. So now that we have a list of the preposition at with nouns and we know the correct translation, let's move on to the last part of the episode where I'm going to take a look at some sample sentences in context. Okay, so the first one is at dawn. So the example is the workers begin at dawn to avoid the heat of midday. At a distance. Mary likes to keep her colleagues at a distance and not socialize too much. At first, the company went well. However, the new manager was a disaster and the company is now filing for bankruptcy. At first sight. At first sight, the financial statements seem or look positive. At a glance. At a glance, I would say this presentation needs more work. Next one is at a guess. Okay, at a guess. At a guess, there were maybe 50 people at the event. At gunpoint. Bruce was held up at gunpoint on his last business trip to Rio. At home. What time will you be at home after work so I can pop in? At a later date. We will have to address this issue at a later date. We don't have the time now. At last. We have finished the project at last. It was 2 months overdue. At the latest. I will need that report on my desk by Monday at the latest. At once. John, I would like to see you in my office at once. At peace. Jim and Brian have resolved their differences and are now at peace with each other. At present. At present, the company is not ready to make any additional investments. At a profit. I sold the inventory at a profit despite offering a discount. At random. We are selecting one lucky customer at random to win a prize. At risk. If we don't move this stock soon, we will be at risk of making a loss. At sea. Sometimes I feel at sea without a rudder. I need to find some direction. At the same time. We could run both campaigns at the same time. At a time of. At a time of crisis, everyone must keep their head. At times. At times, being in business can be very stressful. At work, I'll be at work if anyone needs me. Well, there you have it, my friends. Okay, 22 preposition plus noun combinations with the preposition at. Okay, so I hope that these sample sentences have also given you some context. Okay, and I have tried to include some additional vocabulary. Okay, and expressions in the examples to help you learn even more. Now, if you're a great student, then you can head over to the AOBE website and download a copy of the transcript, okay? And that basically is all I have time for today. I would just like to thank you, as always, for joining me. I really hope this episode has provided you with lots of value, as always, and that you've learned something new and that you're ready to put some of these expressions into practice. Now, don't forget to send me your emails and any questions you may have. And a couple of things before I go. If you haven't already grabbed a copy of the 500 Business Collocations ebook for everyday use, then don't wait. It's full of great expressions and there are also example sentences. And secondly, if you're interested in becoming an AOBE member, then head over and get your annual membership, okay? Because there are many benefits. You get free transcript downloads and you get access to quizzes, and also you get free coaching or online classes, okay, with me and my team, which is incredible value. And finally, stay tuned for some up and coming online courses, which I'm busily working away on. As I mentioned last week, I have an email course in the works, which is coming along nicely. So that is it, my friends. That's all I have time for you today. And I hope you have a great week. And I look forward to having you again on the Art of Business English next week. Take care and bye for now.